Welcome back to the Tropical Update. It's Thursday, September 21st. I'm Tom. I'll be guiding you through graphics, and we're going to be talking about Hurricane Maria. And today it went over Puerto Rico, and some very serious damage to their electrical grid. They have no power. Also mudslides, wind damage, and flooding. Well, let's look at the 5-day cone, and they're starting to show that curve to the north. And also, if you look at the top end of the cone, on Monday evening, they're still showing Maria as still a hurricane. So once it gets back out over the waters near the Bahamas, they expect it to gain some intensity back. So Turks and Caicos need to really watch this. And here's the data at 11 p.m. It was 55 miles northeast of Dominican Republic. Winds were down to 110 miles an hour. Pressure was 959 millibars. And it was moving northwest at 9 miles an hour. And Puerto Rico is still getting some of the banding from it. So they're getting more rain. And Dominican Republic, they're getting some of the wind near the eye right about now. And here is some of the wind data. And you can see that in Dominican Republic, they're getting some 30-mile-an-hour gusts. And actually, I've seen some much more than that. So this is actually a little old. Next up, let's look at the models. And these are important to keep your eye on, because if you look at the top part of our models, they are starting to trend toward the west. So we have to keep an eye on that, because we also have another system that's sort of parked up there. That's Tropical Storm Jose. And here is the watches and warnings that are out for Maria. The Turks and Caicos and the southern Bahamas all have hurricane warnings out. They've still got a hurricane warning out for the northern part of Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico still has a hurricane warning out, and that'll probably come down by morning, but they're still getting some of the banding. And as you look at this, you can see there's a heavy band that's moving over Puerto Rico right now. So they're getting those extremely gusty winds and heavy rains that come along with these feeder bands. And you can also see how close the eye is to the northern shore of Dominican Republic. Now here's a picture of one of the mountains in Puerto Rico. That's 4,300 feet. So that did disrupt the circulation of Maria, and the eye did go over land, which took down some of the strength. And here's another mountain. This one here is 3,900 feet. So anytime you have anything that tall, it does interfere with the circulation of the hurricane. And here they're showing additional rainfall forecast. And it looks like the Turks and Caicos, which are probably going to be next closest to Maria, the heaviest of the rain looks like it's going to stay northeast of them, which is very good news. And here is the wind field and the possible timing on tropical force winds. I wanted you to look at this because you can see at the top of that cone, you're into the Sunday area, and the problem is up there we have this. This is the 5-day cone for Jose, and Jose is expected to stay there pretty much until probably Tuesday or Wednesday. So, but it is supposed to start moving west sometime late Sunday into Monday morning. And here is the possible arrival of tropical force winds for Jose, and you can see how large that area is. And they've also showed that sometime on Thursday, today, that Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard and that area could start to see some tropical force winds as this thing sort of meanders around, but eventually going to be moving over to the west. And here is the pretty much the wind field on it, and it's very large. If you look down at the bottom, you'll see some brown down there, and that is Maria as it's heading north. So this is something we're very much going to look at to see if possibly they're going to take the same track and if they're going to merge with each other. Now here is our spaghetti models for Jose, and looking at them, most of them are showing it going west and coming into Virginia area and that area. So we'll have to watch this very closely the next 2 to 3 days to see if Jose does move and if Maria stays on that same northward path and speed. So let's look at Maria. Here's the latest one on Maria, and if you just follow it north, and you can see at the top of that spaghetti model, it starts to trend over toward the west, and it very well could follow Jose onshore. Now here is the watches and warnings are up. There is a tropical storm warning up, and that's out there on the that's Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard and the islands that stick out up there in New England. So as it meanders around, you're going to definitely get some tropical force winds. The wave heights have come down. They've come down a lot in North Carolina and even in New England. They're not like they were a day or so ago, which is very, very good. And here is the data on it. It is 150 miles southeast of Nantucket, and that's Massachusetts. And the winds were only 60 miles an hour. Pressure was 982 millibars, and it was moving northeast at 6 miles an hour. And it's just sort of meandering around out there. Next up, let's look at our beach forecast. And it's actually in the moderate range for the South Carolina and North Carolina beaches. That means if you do go in the water, make sure there is a lifeguard around, because there is some rip currents and some large waves. So be safe if you're in Myrtle Beach or Carolina Beach. Here is our UV index. It's still in that 7 to 8 range, which means anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes in the middle of the day. If you don't have any protection on, you very well could get skin damage. So always use your sunscreen and stay out of the direct sun. Well, that's about it for this morning. And we appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate all our subscribers. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button. All our good wishes and prayers are going out to the people in Puerto Rico. Without any power, that's very hard to live with, especially how warm it is down there and all the stuff that needs to be taken care of. Have a great day.